going to take you on a journey inside the cell to discover how our bodies make energy through a process called aerobic respiration. Well, let's have a quick introduction about aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is a cellular process in which glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen to produce energy in the form of ATP. It is the most efficient energy-yielding process in the cells, mainly occurring in the mitochondria. Also, it is the most efficient pathway for energy production in eukaryotic cells. The process occurs in two main locations: cytoplasms for glycolysis and mitochondria for later stages.
Now, let's take a look at the balanced equation for aerobic respiration. C6H12O6 plus 6O2 produces 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus 36 to 38 ATP. This equation shows how glucose and oxygen are used in aerobic respiration to produce carbon dioxide, water, and energy in the form of ATP. C6H12O6 is glucose, the sugar that provides energy. O2 is oxygen, which is essential for this process. These react together to form 6CO2 or carbon dioxide, which is waste gas we breathe out, 6H2O or water, which the body may use or excrete, and 36 to 38 ATP, the main energy molecules used by our cells. Glucose is completely oxidized, meaning it's fully broken down to release energy. Oxygen is the final electron acceptor, allowing efficient ATP production. This process only happens when oxygen is present. That's why it's called aerobic respiration. So overall, this equation summarizes how our cells turn food and oxygen into usable energy. Thank you.
Now, aerobic respiration doesn't happen all at once. It has four main stages. First, glycolysis. The location of glycolysis is in the cytoplasm process. One glucose molecule is broken down into two molecules of pyruvate, and small amount of ATP is generated. So, glycolysis happens in the cytoplasm and breaks down into one glucose and the two pyruvates. The process produces a net gain of 2 ATP for immediate energy and 2 NADH for carrying high electrons. So, the key point is glycolysis is efficient because it works with or without oxygen. Without oxygen, cells rely on it for minimal energy, and with oxygen, pyruvate enters the mitochondria for much larger ATP production. So, glycolysis is basically the gateway step, small energy now, but critical for fueling the rest of respiration. Next is link reaction. The location of link reaction is in the mitochondrial matrix process. Pyruvate is converted into acetyl-CoA and carbon dioxide is released. So, the link reaction takes place in the mitochondrial matrix. In these steps, each pyruvate from glycolysis is converted into acetyl-CoA. During this process, one carbon dioxide is released per pyruvate, and NADH is produced. So next is Krebs cycle or citric acid cycle, and it is also located in mitochondrial matrix. Here, each acetyl-CoA enters a series of enzyme-controlled reactions. During a cycle, carbon dioxide is released as waste, and most of the energy is captured in the form of electron carrier. And the last is electron transport chain or ETC, and it is located in inner mitochondrial membrane. The ETC takes place on the inner mitochondrial membrane. In this stage, NADH and FADH from earlier steps release their high-energy electrons into the chain of protein complexes, and electrons move along the power proton pumps, creating a proton gradient across the membrane.
ATP yield. The ATP production of glycolysis is 2 and its byproducts is 2-NADH. But in link reaction, its ATP production is 0 and its byproduct is 2-NADH plus 2CO2. In the Krebs cycle, there are 2 ATP production and its byproduct is 6-NADH plus 2-FADH2 plus 4CO2. In ATC, its ATP production is 32 to 34 and its byproduct is H2O, also known as water. And its total ATP production is 36 to 38 and its byproduct is CO2 plus H2O plus heat.
What actually are the byproducts? As you all know, CO2 is carbon dioxide. It is transported to lungs and exhaled. The HO2 is water, used in metabolic processes or exerted. Heat. It releases as energy, helps maintain body temperatures. And that's all for the byproducts.
So these are the importance. First is energy supply. It provides the majority of ATP needed by cells. Physiological rules, powers muscle contraction, nerve impulses, and biosynthetic reaction. Homeostasis maintains temperature through heat byproduct. And lastly, survival, essential for life of multicellular organisms. And in conclusion, aerobic respiration is the most efficient energy pathway, producing 36 to 38 ATP per glucose, and it also relies on oxygen to fully excite glucose, and lastly, it produces energy and essential byproducts for life processes.